In this video, I'm going to show you guys 4 different sound design techniques. So whether you're making a kit or you just want to add new different sounds to your beats, this video is for you. Okay, first I'm in Pigments and there's a particular preset from Layers Volume 3 that I want to kind of break down for you guys. Right at the bottom here called Waterfalls. This sound I made with one shots. So first is this guitar one shot. I'm just going to play the sound as it is. The main thing I love using in Pigments is the granular effect. Essentially turning on the granular effect adds all these artifacts to it, which makes it sound crazy for textural sounds, especially like this. So this little knob basically affects how often it's going to hit. You can hear quarter notes, not really a lot, but I had it on 16th for this preset. I also turned this knob so it's 76% backwards, 24% forwards, meaning there's reverse notes and there's also a few normal notes hitting as well. Next, I added another sample in Engine 2, so if we go over here and I'll just play this layered on top. That already has a lot more processing. That's a one shot I made. Something really simple I like to do in Omnisphere, it's just super easy to use, is literally load up the default preset, click Sine. I normally bring this down and then kind of turn it into like a plucky type sound. So we've got something like this. And then what I'll do is open Portal like we've got here, go into pitch, maybe step response, I like this one. I'm going to add an auto chroma as well. I like to add compression after my effects, and that actually reminds me, I'm going to add a nice spring reverb to this. So now we have this. That's very similar to how I made this sound, as you can hear. One more element that I love using in Pigments, again another reason why I love using this to sound design, is a utility engine. So it basically has a bunch of textures and noises that you can just add onto your samples. I've got the LFO attached to the volume, so it kind of comes in and then out again. And then the final thing is to go into the effects. So first of all, I have a reverb and delay. Delay is on really heavy. This is what's giving us the really ambient sound. It's kind of washing out all the little imperfections. I added the compressor to kind of smooth it out a bit so we don't have like really loud bits and really quiet bits. And finally, we have this multi-filter. Again, this is attached to LFO 2. So basically, the filter comes in and out, again, making the sound feel a bit more natural and not so rigid. But yeah, this is the final sound basically. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to make more traditional synth kind of presets whilst also making them interesting and not just like super boring. Straight away, as you can see, we've got 2 different sounds layered on top of each other. That's a really good way to make your sounds a bit more interesting. This is what it sounds like. So if I just mute this, we've got the more kind of basic synth sound going. It's very simple. We've got a triangle wave, we've got a saw wave, and we've also got a square wave. So if I turn the modulation off and the effects off, this is what we have. We'll start with the effects because they're pretty simple. I have a tape echo and a pretty heavy reverb, and then we go for the modulations, and then this is where that kind of bounce comes from. All I've done really simply is drawn in this kind of weird pattern. I made sure it's tempo synced, and then I've set the destination to the cutoff so we get the high frequencies coming in and out, leaving us with this. But like I mentioned earlier, what I like to do is layer sounds on top. That's where this one comes in. Something super ambient that totally contrasts what we did in the first sound. So this is in the CZV. Really, it's a very simple sound. I'm going to turn all the effects off just so you guys can hear it how it originally was. Bear in mind, we've got the ARP on. It sounds like this. So if we turn the effects back on, we've got a filter, reverb, phaser, and a bit of overdrive to make it a bit louder. Just like with the first one, really, the LFO is affecting the filter, leaving us with this. Bring that back in. This is what we get. Next, I want to show you guys how you can make perks, rims, just kind of general drum sounds. So I've got Serum loaded up and I've turned everything off except from the noise. What you can do with this section is basically drag in any sound. So I've dragged in a perk loop. Then drawn this LFO to kind of be like a hit, because this is the kind of shape that you get for a rim shot, snare, perk, that kind of thing, a hi-hat as well. And then I'll just attach that to the level. So if I just play it like I've got a singular note playing here, How you're going to take this to the next level is once again with effects. So I've got an auto chroma on this, I've got a springs on this, and like always a compressor to kind of bring the sound up. So now we've got this. This is my favorite one right here. That is fire. And then you can save that wherever. I'll just call it Rim 1. And then once you find a sound that you really like, there's this plugin called synth. Basically what it will do is it will create sounds similar to what you've just made. As you can hear. Ooh. And finally, I'm going to show you how you can make accents and phrases. Like Layers Volume 3 obviously is an R&B kit. So what I would do is go on Splice and find a very simple chord progression, something like that. And then I would simply just click in a melody, find something that I like. That's fire, just something simple. And next, we need to add a bunch of effects to it. And let's add a room reverb. This is kind of my go-to. I'm sure you guys have seen me use this in a video. So let's add a nice delay to it. I'm gonna compress it, bouncing that to audio really quickly so we can manipulate it even more. First, I'm gonna reverse it. Fire. And then all you have to do is export that, save it in a folder somewhere, and you can use that whenever you want. I hope you guys really learned something from this video. If there's other things like this that you want to see, leave a comment, let me know, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.